So we're going to look at how we import our photos in the field, and here I have my Lightroom Classic is open. The catalogue that I created earlier is open, so the Roger Unpat 0420 catalogue is open. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to navigate via the file menu to import photos and videos, and that should obviously open up the import window. And in here you'll see on the left hand side here I've got a series of import options, and the one that I'm going to choose is Nikon D500. And there we are, there's thumbnails of the images on the drive. And moving over here onto the right hand side, I now have a series of options. File handling. In the field I tend to work embedded in Sidecar. The reason for that is that actually uses the embedded JPEG that's within the raw file, and it's hence the quickest to offload. It's important to stress that Lightroom will continue building previews in the background if you tell it to, so it will be building it, but in terms of our first sort, really I just want to see where the stuff's in focus, so on and so forth, and embedded in Sidecar allows me to do that quickly and easily. Moving down, I'm not going to build smart previews because I don't particularly want to add these images to the internet. Often, it's certainly in Roger, for example, I'd have limited internet anyway. I don't want to import suspected duplicates. I'm not going to make a second copy, and I'll come to the reason why in a minute. And I certainly in this case don't want to add to a collection, or I could add to a collection, but I tend not to at import. So when I come down here, I've got a file renaming option. Here I have a series of possibilities that I can use, and I've made a import template called date text number. You can see it's previewed down here, so here's the date reversed, at the moment untitled, and then it's the file number. In here you have all sorts of options. You can edit your templates, so on and so forth, but certainly I'm going to use this. And for the custom text for the moment, I'm just going to put my name in there. You could use the dive site name or the trip or whatever you want, but essentially it's whatever works for you. And you can see down here the example has shown the changes, and now as it imports the files, it will add the date, my name, and then the file number, the original file number that's been assigned by the camera. Okay, moving down here, I want to apply to import. Now, I tend not to apply developed settings, and the reason for that is that I find that generally overall developed settings often don't work in every circumstance, and I want to probably be a bit more selective about how I apply developed settings. So I'm not going to provide developed settings, but I am going to add a metadata setting. This is quite important. So I'm going to edit one that I have in here already, so hopefully I have one in here. In fact, let's use this one here. But what I'm going to do, if I go in and edit that, and come into here, and I'm going to edit Red Sea Festival. And the reason for that is that I know. So in my Red Sea Festival, I have various things already. I've got camera info, so on and so forth. I can add stuff in here. You know, if you are using IPTC because you're supplying images to newspapers, for example, certainly by all means add them. But what I've got here is I've got my basic copyright information, and that's all on there. I've got who I am, which again helps, and this is all going to be embedded into each file. And perhaps what's most important, if I go down to the bottom here, is I have the option of adding keywords. And bear in mind, these are keywords that I want to be added to every single image that I import. So in terms of the trip that I'm doing here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these out. I'll leave Indo-Pacific in because I'm still in Indo-Pacific, so I might add Roger Unpat. I might add Indo-Pacific will stay in there. I might add tropicals, because it's obviously tropical water. I might add, well, let's put that in tropical water. That would assume, of course, that all the images I'm going to import are underwater pictures, and they're probably all going to be blue water. So anyway, it's important that whatever keywords I add here are ones that are going to apply to every single image. So, you know, if you're going to shoot some on the surface, some underwater, don't add tropical water and blue water, and just add Roger Unpat. Now, the eventual keywording, of course, means that you can then use Lightroom's search engine to find any image that has Roger Unpat as a keyword, and that's a very powerful tool that will produce everything that has Roger Unpat. So in this case, obviously from this trip, if I wanted to be specific to this trip, I might put, for example, Roger Unpat 2020. So therefore, put the space back in there. That would of course mean that I've now generated a, if I put Roger Rampart 2020 into it, it'll produce all the images from this trip. All right, now obviously it's been edited, so what I need to do is I'm going to save the current settings as a new preset, and I'm going to call it Roger 20. And create it. So there we go. So now every single, and done, there we go. So now what will happen is you'll see here it comes Roger 20. I could add individual keywords, so these are all underwater images, so I might add underwater in here so that I know they're all underwater. I might add the particular, so let's assume that I was shooting here with a Takina 1017. Although to be fair, that will be stuff that will come up in the camera's metadata, and I've used strobes. So anyway, I can add information there as well. Those obviously would apply to the particular shoot that I'm downloading rather than general. So whatever I add in here, don't want to be added to every image, it'll just be added to the images that I'm importing right now. Now in terms of destination, how am I going to do this? Well, the first thing is I do want to import it into a subfolder. And the subfolder that I'm going to call it, I'm going to do the date in reverse, so 2004, and today's date is the 4th, and I'm going to call it Roger, sorry, I'll just put an underscore in there, Roger and 1. Okay, it's the first day of my Roger Rampart trip, and then I need to specify where I want that to be imported into. My primary, remember, is the name of my external hard drive, and in here I have already created a folder called 2020, and you can see here it's showing that it's going to add a folder called 200404 Roger Rampart Day 1. And then all I need to do is click import, and it will take these images and pull them in and apply those keywords I mentioned before straight directly onto the images as it brings them in. The advantage to doing it in this way, I'm just going to leave it to let it do it because it will take a little while. And the advantage of doing it this way is obviously that what it will do is it will allow me to do edits in the field and save everything, and then I'll still have the keywording, for example, for when I then want to work with individual files later on. Okay, that's it for now. That's showing you how to import it. Thanks very much.